Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Dang it, Billy. You shouldn't be drinking this. Get out of here. That boy ain't right.
Yep.
Hello random person, Sab Nino here. Welcome to another Sab Talk. The question of this week is, what do you like to collect? Last week's question was, who is your favorite Grunge Bunch Chronicles character? Jesus says, also best the Grunge Bunch character is obviously Wallet Arnold. Cee-Jays says, I don't really have a favorite TGBC character. There's not a lot of responses to this question, so I did a poll and cringy won. I don't have news for this week either, so let's just jump into Sab Story Time. This Sab Story Time is very off the cuff. You see, there's like this group of friends that I met in my college days. This was when I was first starting school, and there's like this one guy, his name was Johnny. He was one of the first people I ever met. He had a pack. I loved that pack. And on that same day, we figured out that we were next door neighbors. And we were like, oh shit, we're next door neighbors. And the following day, we like had bowling and we became friends ever since. We still talk every now and again. But eventually, Johnny had to move. He moved to a location that I won't reveal for privacy reasons. But he was visiting my home state, which I won't reveal for privacy reasons, and Notorious JKB tagged along. So I covered the Uber at that point. We were at a hotel. Not only was Johnny there, but the entire pack, or most of the pack. And it was super cool. Some of the members in the pack actually do voice acting work for my cartoons. For example, August is the current voice for Jasmine, and Tyler is the VA behind Dabby. So they were there. But in terms of the event itself, all I remember is that Johnny had like a bean hat, and we played Cards Against Humanity. We had stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut. Everyone was drinking but me and maybe JKB. The Cards Against Humanity was a lot of fun. I sadly can't remember anything from it. It was just basically just very low-key and very chill. JKB took care of the Uber back home. We were talking to the Uber driver. I think she was trying to sell us a premium membership. If you love Uber, you'll love Uber Live. You might be asking yourself, Sab, that was truncated and rushed? What the hell? I don't expect this from you. There's a reason for that. Cause this isn't just a Sab story time. This is a Sab and Notorious JKB story time. Yes, that's right. JKB, the co-creator of Sab Talk, has joined us to tell his side of this story. Come on up, dude.
Johnny and I have often dabbled in the comedy business. We started a cigar store together, and we also starred in that movie MASH. Have you seen it? No, I'm just kidding. When I first met Johnny, it was outside of a store called The Rail. I bet you've never heard of it. I was helping him fix a leak in a cup, and when I talked to Johnny about that particular instance, he tells me that he thought I was drunk, and I never gotten such a huge compliment from a man ever. So when I heard the opportunity to go and see Johnny, because he had moved away into a much more distant area, I was just like, heck yeah, dude, I'll come see you, man. I approached SabNino and I was just like, hey, yo, guy, we gotta go see Johnny. He was like, yeah, totally, man, we do. And it's like, okay, how are we gonna do this? Sab said, hey, I've got this app on my phone. It can get you places. And he's like, okay, how does it work? So you press a button and a car comes to your house, it picks you up, and it takes you to another location. It costs money, but you don't have to talk to the driver, you don't gotta wear masks, nothing. I'm like, okay, cool. So we took this Uber all the way out to another location. It was a hotel. We were just kind of in the middle of the street. We walked across the street, and then Johnny was like, hey, I'm in that building over there. And we was like, what? We thought it was that building over there. So we walked to that building over there. We stood in this little glass canopy for a little while, deciding how we're gonna greet John. Were we gonna hide from him? We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And all of a sudden, the voice actor for Jack Jasmine, August, they just came out of nowhere. It's like, okay, hey guys, we shook hands, bumped chests, and did the dance. Irish jig. We did the Irish jig. And then we, it's like, okay, cool. We're gonna make it up there. John came out of nowhere. He was like a superhero. Came from around the corner, gathered by a bunch of humans. He was just like, yo, it's me. I'm Johnny. We partied. We played Cards Against Humanity. We got some pizza. We hit it off. We smoked a stogie. He had some cigars. We did some scrimshaw. No, I'm just kidding. No, we played Cards Against Humanity, and we drank a bunch. It was a really fun. I actually did not drink. I was considering having one of those seltzers because they did look pretty dang good. But I also had a lot to do that night. By the time it was about late, I looked at Sab and he was just like, man, how are we gonna get home? Like, I don't know. How are we gonna get home? I was like, I heard there's this app and you can call a different car to take you home. He's like, really? Yeah. Difference is this one's called Lyft. Like, no way. I never heard of that. And then it's like, okay, so we gotta stand out on the street corner. We just stood, there was a theater, we were next to a bookstore, and we just stood on the corner for what felt like 10 years. By the time we were able to make it home, there was a lady, she was just like, hey, you gotta buy Lyft Plus. I'm like, I've never heard of that app. We made it home, and that was the moment I realized that I had lost my room key. So that's my going to Johnny's story from Notorious JKB perspective. I hope y'all enjoyed.
Now that the Sab and Notorious JKB story time is out of the way, let's go to the video submissions. Just like last Sab Talk, Cee-Jays the only person who submitted video submissions. Expect to see his name a lot in this episode. The first video he submitted was every generic versus Sonic.exe song, but it's an actual FNF song with voices, dash versus dancing Sonic and Tails. Honestly, I don't have much to say about this, other than the music's pretty decent, and I love the Sonic dancing meme. Moving on, Tails Doll Creepypasta? It had like a very long jumbled up name, so that's just what I'm gonna call it. Just like with Red Mist Squidward, I can't show too much of this due to the creepy atmosphere. Same with the next video that we're going to be looking at. This video is not too bad, though I'd recommend shortening the gaming part a bit. I'd also pick a better filter for it. The one you used looked a bit pixelated. Fun fact, I watched this at 1 a.m. before I went to bed, and the jump scare at the end legit startled me. Congratulations, Cee-Jay. You have done the honors of scaring me. Don't worry, I was able to sleep still. Sonic.mp4. I don't have much to say on this one either, other than the fact that it's also super unsettling. In a good way, of course. Good job. I know you sent me more videos, but for the sake of time, I've decided to put them in next week's Sab Talk instead. Okay, time for the Q&A. JP Plush Production says, have you watched Aw It Co? If not, I don't know what you're talking about. Warframe Bob, the SpongeBob and Bubble Guppies fan says, SabNino, did you play Tekken Tag Tournament 2? Nope. Jesus says, oh, favorite Vocaloid / producer? Hard to say. Lately I've been listening to a lot of Kira. He's done a lot of good English Vocaloid sounds with Miku and Gumi. There's also Pikachu, I believe the name is, also pumps up some pretty good ones. We were talking about that the other day, Jesus. And Circus P also has a lot of bangers. I need to research a lot more Vocaloid producers. Elshawn2006 says, favorite Looney Tunes show and movie? In terms of movie, maybe the original Space Jam? It's far from good, but it's kind of a so bad it's good sort of way. I'm also quite fond of Space Jam 2. I honestly need to watch a lot more Looney Tunes cartoons, especially the Looney Tunes show. But I have seen Looney Tunes cartoons, and I love it, and I highly recommend checking it out. Cee-Jay says, only 8 more Sab Talks until we get the funny number. I am so looking forward to that. What video editor do you use? I use VideoPad by NCH, hence why my Red Mist edit wasn't the best. My primary source of editing is Sony Vegas. However, for the Sab Story Time and sometimes for like intros and other segments, like in specials, I use Adobe Animate. And for the backgrounds, I use After Effects. What do you think Oof the 4-3 look to Red Mist? He's convincing, I can say that much, especially for a creepypasta. What do you think of Tamagotchi Life and DDLC? I've never played Tamagotchi Life. I heard it was really good. And I've never played Doki Doki Literature Club either. But I have heard good things. I probably won't play it, mainly because I don't like horror. What do you think of Phineas and Ferb? I actually grew up with Phineas and Ferb, and I loved it. I really need to rewatch it again, because the memes I see on Twitter and other social medias are genuinely funny. Do you know what SpongeBob Hemp Pants is? Yes? Who doesn't at this point? Oh, fun fact, I mentioned SpongeBob in one of the earlier Sab Talks, and now I just have this image of SpongeBob just hanging out in my Sab Talk files. As a reminder, this week's question is, what do you like to collect? If you have any other questions, please comment them below, and for video submissions, here are the links to those. And with all that said, it's all Sab from here.